I think in our last tour, we started at the front and worked our way back. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'll talk a little bit about some of the changes we made and some of the stuff you see. So I guess first of all, our chairs swivel, which is great. It gives us a little extra living room space. We've had very comfortably 4 adults in here. We can watch TV, movies, we can play games. This has just been a really great, these chairs are actually really comfortable too. Yeah, a really great feature that the chairs swivel. We do have these very ugly covers on them. We know that they're ugly, but they get the job done. We have 2 cats. We knew we wanted to do as much as we could to protect the Winnebago just across the board so that it holds its resale value. And the last thing I need is the cats picking up the leather on these seats. So we put these on literally the first day we got the RV just to protect it. And it also keeps, protects it from, you know, jeans and if there's something in your pocket or something when you sit down. So again, we know they're ugly. They don't match anything, but they do the job. And then the other big thing, this is what really made the RV livable for me as somebody who works full-time from home. This pole here is from, and the hole in the floor were original. It came with a small oval table that's just kind of a side table when you have the seats turned around. And Josh bought this tabletop. It's pre-glued from, I think, Home Depot or Lowe's. And then he sanded it and stained it really nicely. And I set this up as my workstation. So I sat in this chair, and I can show you. So it turns completely around, and then I have a keyboard tray that attaches here, and I had a monitor stand that attached here. And so I had a monitor and my laptop on a stand, and I had a keyboard tray, and I could write notes here. Just a full, really all you need in a desk. If I ever needed extra space, this does flip out as well. And I did, I think, have my printer set up here for a little while. There's a plug right here behind, and I just plugged in a little power strip. And yeah, this is where I sat and worked for almost 5 months. And I still do work here when we go down to Auburn, maybe for a whole week, or I want to work from the road. Just pop out the table and my keyboard tray and set it all up. It's really easy. It actually stores in a cabinet. The whole setup stores in a cabinet for travel, so it's been really great. We also put these curtains up, which has kind of 2 purposes. If somebody's sleeping in the bunk here, it gives them a little privacy. And then the other thing is if I had to do a call and Josh was home, I could actually close this curtain off and nobody could see that, you know, Josh was sitting over there or making coffee in the background or something like that. So this was a really inexpensive, I think it's just a wooden dowel and some hooks and some blackout curtains. And then also kind of the third purpose is it also keeps, if it's really, really hot outside, these are like very thick blackout curtains, and you can close this and it kind of keeps the rest of the RV cool. You know, it's hard to keep the heat from coming in here, so this can really help on a really hot day. You can see we have the bed just dropped down a little bit. The reason is this is what we call the kitty condo. When we're just hanging out, the cats love to be up here. Also, we have our other table and the table legs stored up here sometimes. But really this is the kitty loft, and that is their spot. Of course, it does drop down to about the level of the seats for extra sleeping. It's really only large enough for 1 adult. So don't think, maybe you could get 2 kids up there, maybe, but it's really just a little bit wider than a twin bed. We actually have a twin extra long beddies on it. And it's just a little, it's not quite wide enough, but because the mattress is so thin, it works fine. But yeah, it's not even a double bed.
Next is the entertainment center. When we originally picked this up, Winnebago had installed a table here because that was the only eating space that was in the RV, and we quickly realized that just did not fit our lifestyle. For one thing, when the slides are together, you have to kind of like shimmy past the table because it stuck out like 3 feet. So going on road trips and stuff like that, and when you stop to take a break, it just didn't work out with our travel needs. So we took out the table, which was right here. I ended up building this little cubby just to fill the space, and it holds our surround sound. And then below this used to be 2 cabinet doors, and I took those out and I built a fireplace that goes in here, which we use literally all the time. So we do have a heat pump installed on the RV, and it works great till about around 50 degrees. And below 50 degrees, you just don't have enough energy to transfer and make good heat. But this guy has a built-in heater in it, and it's phenomenal. And being hooked up to electricity, it's free energy. You're not paying for it, and you don't have to worry about your propane levels and all that good stuff. So highly recommend every RV have a electric fireplace installed. They're great. So the TV is in here in an elevator. We have good storage here. This is usually like all of electronics. We keep our camera equipment in here, and the drones, and like when I'm not using my laptop, I keep that in there. And then on this side we have a couple of things like a DVD player, and there's actually a hookup for the TV in here for the DVD player, and we keep our board games and stuff like that in it. Transitioning around, here's our sofa, which turns into a bed, and it's very comfortable for a pull-out bed. It's a trifold. And then we have our cabinets up here, which we keep snacks and random supplies. And then over here we have our pantry, which is also doubled as a closet, whichever adventure you want to go on. And then down here is a huge storage area, and that is being used as the kitty litter box right now. So when we're in it long terms, we take one of these doors off and just leave it open. And then short term, we just prop one of these doors open so they can get in and out there and use their space. So when we removed the table from the entertainment stand, we decided to make our own table to kind of fit our needs better. And so we installed these receptacles into the floor here. So when we need a table, all we have to do is move the rug and the chairs out of the way. There's 2 poles that we install here. And then we have our table that I made. Very nice. It'll sit probably 6 people. I like to use it as extra workspace, or we can have our food set out while we're watching TV. And then we also have a little ottomans here that we can use as extra seating. And then Winnebago gave us 2 more chairs. You can set out for 6 people. Good for board games or eating, or what else am I doing? What normal people do with tables.
Alright, so we're in the kitchen, and we really haven't had to do much here at all. I mean, this is part of why we bought this floor plan, is that there was actually enough counter space to cook in here. Remember, we were here full time, so I mean, all of our meals for 4 months, unless we were grilling, were cooked right here. I do most of my prep work here. I'm not really a fan of like the sink covers. I really like to have a dish drain in one side of the sink and then leave the other side open to actually wash, or whatever you need to do. So yeah, so we use this as prep space. There's actually a little more prep space here, and then we've got both an electric burner and a gas burner, and I've used both of them. Actually love them both. I like having the option, so if we're hooked up to connections where we have power, we can use the electric one. We don't have to worry about using up the propane. But if we want to go boondock, we have the gas burner as well. I don't know why they don't do this with every RV. It's great just to have the flexibility. Alright, so one thing we did do here was, and we did do this in a video before, is we put in a little shelf here just to take advantage of the taller space in this cabinet. Right now there's barely anything in it. Again, this is, we don't live here full time anymore. It was full when we lived in it. But it's just a great spot for our coffee and tea, and our coffee pot and everything. The other thing we did was just put in this piece of metal and then got the little spice jars that are magnetic. And this is just the best use of space. It is probably one of my favorite things about the RV. And I even forget that we did this. One of the first things I did was a peel and stick backsplash. So these are just from Lowe's. They're like $7 a square foot, I think. But yeah, it was really easy. There was just wallpaper here, which was not great for like wiping down your cooking, that sort of thing. And I think it looks like it came that way, so I'll call that a win. And then the other thing is just these baskets. There's kind of this space behind the stove that was unused. And we installed baskets just with some little 3M clips to keep them from sliding around when we're moving. Coffee, extra chips, that sort of stuff goes there. The convection microwave, so we don't have a real oven. So we have the convection microwave, and it does the job. It works okay. I think for living full-time, I would have preferred to have the propane oven. But just for weekend trips, it does the trick. We don't really use an oven a whole lot on the weekends anyway. All right, so as we move into the hall, one thing we did do is install a magnet here to keep this door open. If you're not completely level, this door will, of course, just move on its own. So we really like to keep the bathroom door open. It kind of helps keep down the humidity after showers and stuff like that. And there's also a skylight there, so it brings in some more light into the hallway, which can be kind of dark when the door is closed. And then, of course, we have just the most massive, it's not a residential refrigerator, but it is the size of a residential refrigerator. So the double door fridge here, which is just, you know, way too much space for the weekend, but it's great when you're living full time. And then the freezer compartments are separated, and we do have an ice maker. All right, and that's bringing us into the bathroom. Really, again, we haven't done much in here. I'd say the only thing is just installing a towel rack for our not currently in use towels. So Winnebago gives you several hooks for hanging to dry, but we just didn't have any place to put our extra towels. So we installed this, and it's held up really well. Yeah, that's really it for the bathroom. Everything else is great. The shower is pretty small, but it does the trick. I guess the last thing in the hallway, of course, is our washer and dryer. We could not have lived full time without it. I don't know how people do it. We have a stackable, and I actually would have preferred to have probably a combo unit, because then we could have had a little more storage here. But, you know, right now we don't really need the storage, so we use the dryer all the time. You know, if you go to the beach, come back with a wet beach towel, throw it in, dry it off, or if we've used our towels one time and we just want to toss them in instead of washing them, we use this literally every time we take the RV out. And then as we come into the bedroom, we did install some shelves here just for laundry. Again, there's no storage in there. You don't even have anywhere to put your laundry soap. So we put some shelves up here just to keep that stuff. And then that brings us into the bedroom. Again, we haven't done a whole lot. Didn't really need to do much in here. The wallpaper that we tried to install, it was peel and stick. It's great if you keep your RV plugged in and temperature controlled all the time, but peel and stick does not like temperature change, and so we put it up. It lasted for a couple of months. We came back to pick up the RV from storage, and it was like in a pile on the floor. It just melted off the wall. So I may try to put up some more, but maybe use like a residential wallpaper glue instead of just the peel and stick. So the bed does lift, and there's just an absolute ton of storage under here. I'm not going to lift it right now because I just don't want to show you all of our random stuff that's in there. But, you know, for full-time living, we were able to put clothes and just all sorts of stuff under here. Right now, we typically store the tables, the table legs, that sort of thing can go in here on travel days. We said we'd talk about some things that we had to fix or that didn't work very well for us. These closet doors, for the first, I think 6 months we had this RV, were the bane of our existence. They wouldn't stay closed. So this side is Josh's side, this side is mine, and his side was the only one with a light, but the door wouldn't stay closed enough for the light to turn off. So we'd come in and there'd be just light streaming through the little crack in the door, or in the middle of the night you'd notice that the closet light was on, because the door just wasn't latching the way it was supposed to. So I think we were already living in it full time, and I took a whole day and I took both of the doors off and I completely redid like all the hinges, like moved them, straightened them out where they were supposed to be. I straightened out the latches and totally had to reinstall every single component of this door to get it to latch the right way. So it latches so well and it doesn't come undone. My side now is starting to get a little loose, so we'll probably be doing that with my side in not too long. The one weird thing is, and I don't know if it was an accident or if it was on purpose, but this side didn't have a light. So if I opened my side of the closet, the light didn't come on. So it was like a $5 part. So Josh just tracked it down, I think on Amazon or eBay, and we installed it. Which now the extra one that we bought is not doing so well, so we may be buying another $5 part. But yeah, it was a quick, simple fix. I'm really not sure if that was on purpose or if that was just an accident. They just forgot to install it. It doesn't make sense to have it on one side and not the other. But yeah, so now we have it, and we're here on a short trip this week. We didn't unpack, but usually we do a lot of RVing in the fall, so you know, jackets and sweaters all can hang up, and I actually do use the space.
One of the next big upgrades we did was to the battery system. So the Winnebago came with 2 lead acid batteries, which gave us about 200 amp hours. But with a lead acid battery, you have to realize that you can only use 50% of your battery power. So you're only looking at about 100 amp hours. So we replaced it with a SOK 206 amp hour battery, which takes up less room than the 2 lead acid batteries, and you can use 100% of your 206 amp hours. We also added a Bluetooth battery monitoring system, so we can check on our phone to see how much battery power we've been using, and it'll give you a time of how long is remaining on your battery power. So it's really convenient to go boondocking with. In order to upgrade our lithium battery, we also had to replace 2 different components. One was the battery isolation monitor, which is a device that disconnects or connects your chassis battery and your coach battery together. And we also had to install a lithium rated battery converter charger. So both of those projects were fairly straightforward for somebody who's dealt with that kind of stuff before. The Winnebago came with a ZAMP solar panel and solar charger, which was great for just keeping your battery topped off, but it wasn't enough for us to do boondocking with. So we added 2 more solar panels on the roof, which gave us about 460 watts of solar power.
So here in the hallway, we also have all of the controls for the Winnebago. I love that they just put everything all in one spot. So at the top, of course, we've got the lift for the bunk over the cab. We've got our slide controls. Those are way up high. You're not going to have, you know, small children accessing those or playing with them, which is a good safety feature. Right below that, so like Josh was talking about, the ZAMP solar. So this is rated for 30 amp. And yeah, we didn't have to change that out at all because we stuck within the kind of manufacturer limits for solar. And then we've got our inverter controller here. We've got a 1000 watt inverter. And then we also have our generator. So we have a automatic gen start. So, you know, if we're boondocking and we start drawing too much power, the generator can kick in automatically. Then here is our kind of battery control center or power control center. So you can, it'll like light, if we're not on 50 amp, it'll light up and it'll say like if you're on 30 amp or 20 amp. And then this also manages your power draw. So if you say you're hooked up to 30 amp, it'll prioritize, and so it'll turn off your water heater first, and then the refrigerator, and it prioritizes the air conditioner. But it'll do that all automatically, so you don't pop the circuit breaker if you're plugged into 30 amps. Then we've got our water heater, water pump, tank sensors, and then our electric water heater and the front AC control. And that Josh also mentioned, that's also a heat pump. So we've got both AC and heat pump on both of our air conditioners, and we have two. And then the other control is right here in the bedroom, so they're just a few feet apart, which is kind of funny, but again, this one also has a heat pump.
Welcome to the outside. As you can see, we have tons of storage here. So we tried to categorize our holds by what we may need out of them. So the first hold here is just our folding chairs.
And that one does go all the way through. It's just got chairs in it.
Right. And then this is our largest hold. And this is kind of like all of our outdoor stuff. So we have a 10 by 10 pop-up. We have fishing supplies. We have a fan. We have panels for like another pop-up that we have.
We have games and ladder, all that stuff. This also goes all the way through to the other side.
This one right next to our door is all of our like quick setup stuff. So anything that we need as soon as we get to the campsite, we put it in here. So we have our outside lights, a broom, some ladders.
The bunk ladders in there. Easy access stuff.
Moving on down, we have our grill hookup here.
TV, which that's locked, so we won't open it, but there's an outside TV and stereo system.
TV and stereo. The next hold here is kind of my garage. So I have some tools in here, and then the drone is set up right now. I was taking some footage earlier.
Here's for when I'm following the car, or following the Winnebago in the car.
So next we have our 10-gallon electric and propane water heater. And then back here is our spare chemicals. So extra sealant, extra caulk, shop vac,
car wash.
This is kind of like our emergency box. So if you spring a leak, all the stuff is right there that you need to fix it. And here's our generator. It's locked, so I can't open it.
It's a Cummins Onan 5500.
Yes.
Gas generator.
Next is our water servicing bay. So I love the way that Winnebago has everything set up in here. A couple of things that we did replace when we bought the unit is our water filter. I wanted something clear so you can kind of see the status of your filter. And we also installed this pressure regulator for the water hose.
And the whole Y setup.
Yeah, the whole Y setup. I have like an extra Y here in case you want to hook a hose up to it. And then I also took off our outside shower and got an adapter here to hook a water hose up to it. I use a water hose a lot more than I would the outside shower, and
it's easier to winterize too.
Easier to winterize, and also I have hot water coming from my water hose if I
need to wash something. Yeah. This is also where our power cord comes out.
And here's our gray and black water setup. This is a really big hold, but we have our RV cover in it, which takes up the entire thing. So, and then this is the other side of the large hold that we showed you to begin with.
We got our grill and some more.
We have our grill in here, and then that box is kind of like our fire pit and a couple more little outdoorsy stuff. And then this is where our leveling blocks also go. And then this is our propane tank. And then next to that is our leveling manifold.
think that's about it.
That's it.